groundbreaking on long-awaited National Library project. Tourism Expo calls Timorese travelers to Malaysia. Business Council sets agenda to strengthen Australian business partnerships. Rttl the seal attracts global attention and safety concerns in Tasmania, Australia. Welcome back to RTTL World News. I'm Sonia Madeira. The Timor-Leste government has launched construction on the National Library project. The project was first discussed in 2010, but has only come to fruition this year after issues with site selection, design development, procurement delays, and the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Ground is broken on the $11.7 million National Library project. The National Library project is a gift from an Italian oil and gas company operating in Timor-Leste.
An Italian-based company in Australia and its joint ventures committed to funding the design, construction and fit-out of a national library project in Timor-Leste.
As construction gets underway, Timor-Leste's Prime Minister is challenging the nation's universities and academics to step up and fill the library with local research and literature.
I am calling on everyone, especially intellectuals, to start working on filling this library with memories for future generations.
For E&I Australia Managing Director Emanuele Calviello, this library project is deeply personal.
And I remember a young priest was talking and was teaching us what culture is. And he told us, well, you need to go to school, you need to learn a lot of things, you need to read a lot of books.
The Italian oil and gas giant wants the library to be the windows of information and culture for the next generations of the young country.
Where not only you will find books, where not only you can find other kind of devices, where you can maybe look Cristiano Ronaldo playing Portugal in the World Cup, where you really keep and transfer the culture of your country to the next generation.
The company committed $10 million, while the Timorese government contributed $1.73 million.
National building is not only about roads, bridges, ports and public building. These are essential economic development for the improving of life of the people. It is also about investing in education, culture, nurture, knowledge and national memory.
The construction is expected to complete within 18 months. Students and avid readers welcomed the construction of the National Library.
As a young person and a student, I'm grateful that the government took the initiative to build a national library so that the students and young people in the country can go there for research, reading, and completing their study.
For local readers, access to more resources is what they are looking forward to most.
Wonderful idea to build a national library because National Library could check access more than some books or some books that are related to science and technology itself and among like science in general sciences.
With ground officially broken on the long-awaited project, the countdown is now on for Rttl students and readers to finally get a library to call their own. Zegedes Elvira Carvalho, RTTL World News.
Timor-Leste's Minister of Justice is expanding consular services in South Korea and Australia to facilitate Timorese citizens living abroad. Those living and working in the two countries will be able to process official and civil documents without having to travel back to Timor-Leste.
Almiro Amaral currently works in Australia through the Pacific Australia Labour Mobility Scheme.
Today I came to the Timor-Leste embassy in Canberra to renew my passport that has expired. I feel happy because the attaché of justice brought me here to make it easier for us to process important documents.
As the Timorese population grows in Australia, the government is working to expand its services to allow those working abroad to process their documents in country. The same services are being expanded in South Korea.
The government is establishing additional justice services in South Korea to resolve the problems that Timorese have been facing regarding the renewal of passports, identity cards, and other documents.
Australian Attaché of Justice, Celito Cardozo says mobile services will soon be provided to Timorese living away from Australia's capital. He says this will improve access to government services, reduce cost and waiting times, and better support the Timorese diaspora in both countries.
We usually provide services to the Timor-Leste embassy in Canberra, but we also provide mobile services in territories in Australia. We especially focus on Darwin and Perth.
Last month, a delegation led by the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation, Benito dos Santos Freitas, conducted a working visit to the two countries to strengthen multilateral relations between Timor-Leste, Australia, and the Republic of Korea. Jerry Madeira, RTTL World News.
Malaysia hosted its first tourism expo in Dili last week. The event brought together Malaysian entrepreneurs, tourism industry players, and local stakeholders to showcase the country's diverse tourism products and its rich cuisine to the people of Timor-Leste. The campaign aims to promote Malaysia's tourism and culinary heritage while strengthening people-to-people bonds with the newest ASEAN member state.
The Malaysian tourism campaign arrives in Dili. The Mai Expo began with a seminar and exhibition held in Dili Convention Center, providing insights into Malaysia's tourism offerings.
Tourism has become an increasingly important pillar of our bilateral relationships, with the direct flight connectivity between Dili and Kuala Lumpur through Batik Air and Aero Dili. Travel between our two countries has become more convenient and accessible than ever before. These enhanced connections create greater opportunities for tourism, business, investment, and cultural exchanges, further strengthening the bonds between our peoples.
For 2 days, the exhibition featured information on Malaysia's higher education, agriculture, aviation, food and beverages, financial technology, and tourism sectors. People flocked to the venue to learn about Malaysia's tourism and educational opportunities.
The students can use this information to build connections. So if some of them would like to study in Malaysia, they can apply.
Apart from the exhibition, there is also a cooking show at Palm Springs Hotel, showcasing Malaysia's flavors.
Through initiatives such as Flavors of Malaysia, we are pleased to share not only our cuisine, but also our culture, traditions, stories, and the warmth and hospitality of the Malaysian people.
In 2024, Malaysia's tourism sector contributed 292 billion ringgit, or almost $72 billion to its GDP.
Of course, for Malaysia, tourism industry or tourism is one of the biggest contribution to our GDP, our economy GDP, and we hope that in this kind of situation, a lot of tourists, Timorese will go to Malaysia.
The guests enjoyed the food and commended the initiative.
I think this is such a good initiative which we can do as well. We have our embassy in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and other ASEAN member states, so we can do something similar.
I think it's a good activity that we as the ASEAN really enjoy, and I hope that the Timor-Leste people will also enjoy this kind of cultural relation and people-to-people relation among ASEAN family.
The tourism campaign comes following the launch of direct flights between Dili and Kuala Lumpur last year.
As we do have 5 times weekly direct flight from Dili to Kuala Lumpur, I think we have a lot of potential for Timorese to go to Malaysia, and at the same time to fulfill the flight frequency. We do have a Malaysia also coming here for the visit in Timor-Leste.
Visitors to Palm Springs Hotel will be able to enjoy Malaysia's authentic cuisine up to July 22nd. With the flavors and vibrant destinations of Malaysia on display, the event marks a growing bridge of cultural and economic exchange between Malaysia and Timor-Leste. Pauline Quintown, Judas Magno, RTTL World News.
The Timor-Leste Australia Business Council has launched a new advocacy agenda aimed at strengthening the country's private sector and improving the business environment. The roadmap outlines the Council's priorities through to 2030, with a focus on expanding trade, investment, and business partnerships between Timor-Leste and Australia.
Working with government to turn intent into action. The newly launched agenda aims to encourage a more competitive and attractive business environment between Timor-Leste and Australia.
It provides a platform to both businesses from both countries to network, share experiences, have an access to another markets, and identify opportunities.
Established in 2024, the Timor-Leste Australia Business Council works with the two governments to strengthen trade, investment, and private sector collaboration. It represents more than 50 members across 9 sectors in Timor-Leste and Australia. Board members hope the Council's new agenda will reduce speed bumps facing businesses, including licensing, customs, finance, land, and energy, particularly as Timor-Leste works towards ASEAN and World Trade Organization commitments.
What we're about is trying to work with the government, developing a relationship with the government to improve a fruitful and happy investor or business environment.
So it's about a partnership, it's about growing skills, bringing in expertise, problem solving together and bringing different diverse experience.
While the Business Council operates independently, it has received advocacy and public support from the Australian government.
The Australian government's strategy for economic engagement in Southeast Asia, it's a very clear strategy, invested, and it's a strategy for all Southeast Asian countries and Australia's interaction, business, economics, trade.
Local business Lauhata Beats Escape joined the council last year.
I think we should have more Timorese businesses being part of it, since we have people who are working in Australia, friends and family who are part of Australia, our proximity to Australia. We want to establish good business with Australia, and that's a good way to do it through the council.
Mr. Suarez encouraged other Timorese businesses to join the council, saying the new agenda advocates for local business.
Is that we can have a stronger voice by having the Timorese businesses giving their points of view and opinion about how things should be settled.
So we do encourage everybody to join, participate, get active, get involved, have a voice.
The council plans to work with government, bilateral and development partners, as well as the private sector, to regularly review progress to 2030. Zeri Madeira, RTTL World News.
According to the WHO, Timor-Leste has the 7th highest rate of tuberculosis in the world and the 2nd highest incident rate in the Southeast Asia region. In Thursday's exclusive interview, Clivo Doming Clinic Director Joaquin Freitas Suarez told RTTL World News how the clinic works against the spread of tuberculosis in Timor-Leste. In part 2 of his interview, Mr. Freitas details the technology and treatment available to patients who test positive for TB and how the government can work towards its targets of TB incidence and death reduction.
What technology does your team use to improve case detection and diagnostic accuracy in rural communities?
If we need to detect more cases, including missing cases, we have to go and find them. That means we have to visit the rural communities, house to house, to find those people that have signs and symptoms of tuberculosis. We have to collect their sputum sample and bringing them to the laboratory for testing. First, we use the X-ray with the artificial intelligence. Then we collect the sample, test in the GeneXpert. GeneXpert is another modern technology, it's advanced technology to actually detect TB case very rapidly.
What treatment support do you offer to patients who test positive for TB?
The drugs that we are using to treat the patient based on the WHO regimen, TB drug regimen, including Ministry of Health. So the drugs composed of 4 fish dose drug doses. So that include isoniazid, rifampicin, pyrazinamide, and ethambutol. That 4 combination drugs that we provide during intensive phase treatment with the full 4 drugs combination, and then during the continuation phase treatment we use 2 types of drug, which is isoniazid and rifampicin during the treatment continuation treatment phase.
Director, what special services do you provide for the patients with drug-resistant TB?
Of course, the treatment for the drug-resistant TB is very complex. So we have to provide a good nutrition support, high calorie, high protein, to support the patient's nutrition during the treatment. So I'm very pleased to say that currently our success rate for DRTB is almost 90% success rate.
Timor-Leste has set an ambitious target to cut TB incidence by 80% and TB-related deaths by 90% by 2030. Do you think we can meet this deadline?
The efforts to reduce the mortality rate due to TB is progressing quite well. Currently, Ministry of Health achieved around 55% already. So hopefully by 2030 we could achieve 90%. But that is very optimistic. I'm not saying that is very ambitious, but it is important to continue steady investment towards that ambitious. And the second goal, about 80% reduction of new TB cases every year, that means by 2030, by reducing 80%, that means by 2030 we have to have at least 100 cases per 100,000 population. Currently, the incidence rate is 498 per 100,000 population. So if we wanted to reduce 80% from 489, that means by 2030 we should have only 100 per 100,000 population. So that means divided 1.4 million population, it's reduced quite significant. But again, we need a lot of investment to achieve that target.
Thank you for talking with RTTL News Director.
Thank you. You are welcome.
In international news, he's Tasmania's growing icon in more ways than one. Neil the one-ton elephant seal is attracting an increasingly global fan base, and as he gets even bigger, locals are calling for better protection.
This Tassie icon doesn't have to do much to draw a crowd.
Occasionally moves around and yawns. He's quite big.
He's a big tronker, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Neil the one-ton elephant seal was born in Tasmania without a colony like he'd have on the sub-Antarctic islands. His efforts to socialise and spar have attracted an increasingly global audience on social media. But at home, some are calling for stricter rules to protect him. 26,000 people signing a petition.
As he's gone aged, he's got more attention and more popularity, and as such, I think that's why we need to do something now before he does get to 3 tonnes.
Fearing that Neil could face euthanasia if he poses too much of a safety risk.
If he does want to play or attack in the future, it really will be on us.
In Victoria, it's an offence to go within 30 metres of a seal on land, and offenders can be fined thousands of dollars. In Tasmania, Neil's personal security advises onlookers to stay 20 metres away, but the government isn't considering new laws.
Common sense is what is at key here. We don't need to legislate for common sense.
The teenage elephant seal could eventually weigh up to 4,000 kilograms once he's an adult. And since authorities know when and where he likes to hang out, some think a proper management plan is needed alongside any new laws.
Whether it's planning for barriers, road closures, and potentially introducing things like fines to make sure that people actually continue to do the right thing.
Providing protection in the face of growing popularity.
We all want to live at home on our own terms for as long as possible. However, it gets harder as we age or get sick. But what if you try out a range of modifications, robotics and AI to find the best way to stay independent and active longer?
Welcome to the Living Lab.
From concierges and companions, kettles that don't need to be lifted. This is a place to test the practical and the emerging.
I'm amazed to see just how a jug has changed.
These kinds of facilities are important to study the way we can help people look after themselves and be independent in their homes for longer.
Fixed rails that can be dropped down.
The lab was developed by Monash University and Bayside Health Peninsula in Melbourne to give older people and disabled Australians unbiased guidance and information on potentially helpful home modifications.
No steps required to move in and out of the shower.
About 50 people a week try out the tech here, which includes adjustable sinks and beds, wardrobe and closet modifications, and an array of cameras and sensors to detect things like falls and communicate with the world. There are also robotic and interactive pets for people who love animals but can't have them anymore because of frailty or dementia. They're known to create a sense of calm as well as treat loneliness. Other robots and AI here can answer questions. Can you dance?
Yes.
And even attempt entertainment.
These kinds of facilities could be scaled across the country.
And while not everything may be for everyone, the need to find ways to keep older Australians independent, active and engaged is only increasing.
It's important for your self-esteem.
Thank you. How can I help you further?
And now tomorrow's weather, starting with Dili. Mostly sunny with a top temperature of 31 and a low of 22 degrees. Mostly sunny in Baucau, becoming cloudy in the afternoon. Temperatures ranging between 28 and 19 degrees. In Lautem, sunny to partly cloudy, a high of 28 and a low of 20 degrees. Mostly sunny in Bobonaro, turning to rain and drizzle in the afternoon. a top temperature of 27 and a low of 15. And in Aileu, partly sunny in the morning, becoming overcast in the afternoon. Temperatures ranging between 26 and 14 degrees. Now looking abroad. In Kupang, breezy and humid with sun through high clouds, a high of 32 and a low of 23. Partly sunny in Bali with temperatures ranging between 34 and 20 degrees. In Jakarta, clouds and occasional sunshine, a top of 33 and a low of 24. Scattered morning thunderstorms in Seoul, otherwise mostly cloudy, hot and humid, a high of 34 and a low of 26 degrees. Sun through high clouds in Darwin, temperatures ranging between 31 and 20 degrees. Sunny in Sydney with a height of 19 and a low of 9 degrees. In Lisbon, pleasant with sun and some clouds, temperatures ranging between 26 and 18 degrees. Very warm and partly cloudy in London, with a top temperature of 28 and a low of 17 degrees. And in Belfast, partly sunny and warm, a top temperature of 24 and a low of 14 degrees. Thanks for joining us again on the program. RTTL World News will be back with more stories on Thursday. Bye for now.